Okay, hello, hello, hello. Here we go. Yes, honey. We are back again. Not with Sherlock and them, but again, we got our binoculars. We're watching from afar. We are back with Christopher Pike's monster. Um, Again, we are not on the case, honey. We are not. We don't want to. We don't want to be near these people. Are infected. They got some problems, honey. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna recap on a short. If you want a little recap, or you could just watch the other one. Watch part one, so you can understand what we talking about. Because it's gonna move fast again. And in Pike's book, this book moves fast, honey. It moves fast, honey. We're jumping in the deep end. So let's do our thing. Yes, baby. We are open. So let me go and hang her up. Okay, we in. And let me tell you about the outfit. Because I feel like we went to the warehouse and we found the blood of them couples and stuff. So I feel like the blood was gonna be dried. I don't need a vivid red, or maybe I should have, because child, it's gonna be more blood. Um, But yeah, I felt like dry blood was the color of the day. So that's what we're wearing. Dry blood brown. And I put BBD in the title. And I know some people might be like, oh, that's Belleville DeVoe. No, 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 baby. That's blood and bad decisions. Because I feel like that's where we're going. We're going to BBD, baby. Blood and bad decisions. Because my girl is already in it to win it. Scott, are you ready for this ride?
I'm ready. Been waiting for 2 days.
Oh, I guess it has been 2 days, hasn't it? I had to, I don't know. I had to do stuff. Okay, so here we go. Let me turn to the easier side here. This video is sponsored by them potatoes. Them potatoes over there. It's not sponsored by anything. They were in the frame. So, okay. So last we left off, Kevin finally allowed Angela to drop him off, even though it's like, sir, please, please let this woman drop you off, because she tripping. She doing this. She going thriller, honey. She going thriller. And we don't want to be part of that. We don't want to do that. So he got dropped off. And so Angela went to the library. She talked to the librarian. The librarian was like, go, girl, go over there to Shine and Feather. He got the shop called something. Just go over there to the shop and, talk to him. And she's like, he's like really, 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 really old. And Angela's like, girl, how old? And she was like, he was old during the Great Depression when I was a little girl. Now, don't like this book is set in the 90s. So that's why it's like that was still old back then, though. So Angela goes to McDonald's multiple times, gets more raw meat, stops at a butcher, gets some raw meat.
Makes more sense.
We're just doing a lot that we normally don't do. We're doing things that we weren't doing before Jim's blood got in our mouth that one night. BBD, blood and bad decisions, honey. So she's just cognitive dissonance. I'm driving to go see Shining Feather. And so she goes and she gets there, and his great great granddaughter takes care of him, and she runs the shop. And Angela was up in there talking about, she was dragging. Angela was dragging, talking about some all the stuff she was trying to sell me looked like it came from Walmart, and she just added little Indian feathers to it. And I was like, girl, she probably did. And then there was more proof of that. So anyway, she makes Angela buy a $2 trinket. And then she's like, okay, you can go back there and talk to my great granddaddy. And so, Angela also has a barber and say, girl, I'm writing something for the school paper and I just need to like ask a couple of questions. And so she's like, oh, okay, cool. Buy this thing and then I'm gonna take you back. So that's what happens. And so she goes back there. So at first she's asking like some general questions that aren't like over the top, we'll say. Like, oh, I heard that, the lake, we shouldn't drink from it, and, blah, blah, blah. So finally, she started pulling out the big gun stuff. She's like, I heard that it means a bath of blood. Now, mind you, Shine and Feather is like old as get out. He's sitting there watching his program. He probably watching Days of Our Lives or General Hospital. My granddaddy used to watch that. So he probably was sitting there watching that. And here come this woman interrupting that. And then she's not like, at first she's being nice, and then she's just going all the way in, just pressing all your superstitious buttons. All your superstitious buttons. So she's, like, oh, and by the way, Shine and Feather clearly didn't want to be bothered because he was like, I don't even speak English. I don't remember how to do that. Like, I'm done. Like, honey, I've retired English. He's retired English. So he only speaks his native tongue because he has put English, that's in his rearview mirror.
Cool.
So, and I'm going to say that for a point. I'm really, it's like a little turning point to show you like how triggered this man was. So she's like, yeah, I heard that the name of this lake means like bath of blood. And so all of a sudden he remembers English and he's like, no, don't be saying that. Like, she started hitting him with them jabs. She was like, She started hitting him with the jabs that was triggering him. He was getting triggered. He was glitching. And so she kept going, and she was like, some kids are drinking the water from that lake and it's making them sick. And he was like, tell them to stop drinking the water and everything will go back to normal. I had to tell, some settlers from when they settled the area, because that's how old I am, to not drink it. And they didn't listen. And then bad stuff started happening. And then they start listening. So why don't y'all just go ahead and listen and let me get back to watching, Days of Our Lives. I got stuff like, ma'am. So she's like, well, that's great and all, but I think they start transforming into something else. And so my man is getting triggered, and all of a sudden he's speaking good English, good, clean, clear English. Especially when she hit him with the katu word. Because, okay, so they said that if people drank from those, so there are two lakes. So there were two meteoroids that came to the earth and just hit and made them two lakes. There was one where they were and another in South America. She had read all this at the when she went to the library before she had went to go see Shine and Feather. Even though I got the notes, I still am out of sequence. So here we go. So this is what she learned, and this is why he triggered. So both of the lakes are named the same, even though these people do not have cell phones. This is like Native Americans before like the white people came. They like, they both named the lakes, even though one's in like California or Utah or something, it's on the West Coast, and the other's all the way in South America. These people have never met, but both of the names are like Cethia. Both of them mean bath of blood. Just coincidences. Both of them were made from meteors that fell on the earth. And both of them, nobody was drinking. Both of them, there was no wildlife. Nothing. And so she's like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's like really crazy. So then she started looking into the myths of the Native Americans, and people started, when people did drink from there, they became monsters. Like they said, they became Cthulhu. And even the South America, they had kind of similar names. They called them Cthulhu. They were people that ate people. They turned into people that eat people, but you had to continuously eat, like keep drinking that water. Something was wrong with the water. So, She also read some stuff by an author who was protesting and saying, like, do not let the kids drink the water from there because there's some weird ancient dead bacteria in there that they found. It's inactive, but it's in there. And also the water it had some high frequency of magnetism. So she read a few different articles. So as she was going to Shine and Feather, she was armed with this knowledge of their old, traditions. And she was like, so I think the kids kept drinking the water and they turned to Katu. And he was like, he was triggered. And he was like, he was like, does this have something to do with that girl shooting up, doing the pop, 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 bang, bang, bang over to the school? And she was like, yeah, she did that because she thought they were Katu. And he was like, did she get them all? And she was like, no. And he was like, well, then somebody needs to get them. Basically what the homie was saying. And then he looked at her and he was like, come here, come close, come get real close over here, get real. And then he started yelling and saying she was Katu. And so she was like, well, what do I do? What do I do? What did I do? And so he was nice. Oh, I forgot. I needed more accessories. I needed to wear a chain and I don't have one, y'all. I'm so sorry. You know what? To represent me being Katu, I'm going to put on my glasses because they get superpowers. And now I can really see. So he kept saying Katu to her, Katu, Katu. And she's like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm a rapper. Thank you for that, Scott. Scott reminded me that I'm a rapper. So he takes this necklace off and it's a like bat thing, but it ain't got no head. And he puts it around her neck and he was like, keep that on. Keep that on. It might help you. This is the last thing I'm going to do now. Get on out of here and don't come back. Girl, you done made me miss, General Hospital. And you could too. So, what you think so far, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, some good information. See where it goes.
Okay. So she goes home. I mean, probably eating all kinds of blood sausage and girl, whatever. Just knowing her BBDs have made her Katu now. Like, this is probably worse than like pregnancy. If I had to rack and stack it, I would say this is probably worse than pregnancy here. So she gets home and guess who's there? Guess who's there? Guess who's there? Put it in a comment. It'll have a timestamp on there. Guess who's there? Scott, do you want to guess?
I don't remember the name.
Which will describe his role.
The dude who gave her the blood.
Okay, yes, you're right, Scott. Jim is there. And she's like, well, I forgot to say, on her way there, she went grocery shopping and just brought all kinds of meat, all kinds of cow meat and pork. I don't even think she brought chicken. It was all beef and pork. And so, Jim is there. And so she goes and lightly just wants it warm, just heats up a steak, eats it. And then they start making out again. There's no rhyme or reason at this point. Like, like your best friend told you it wasn't copacetic. Like she said, you know what? Bring that word back. Copacetic. Bring that back. So anyway, the friend told you it was not cool. She was not down with the get down. And she didn't told you that, hey, there's something wrong with this guy. That's the reason why I tried to take him out. You know something's wrong with this guy. That's why you keep going down to the prison talking to your friend. And, you know, I don't know why we're making out with him. But hey, guess what else is there? While we're making out with him, guess what else appears? Blood. Blood comes up. He bites the tip of her tongue. And they just keep making out. And she said it was like the best ecstasy ever. And I'm just like, girl, it's giving Thriller. Remember when he started transforming into a monster?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's giving that. So there's blood everywhere. Again, BBDs everywhere. Blood and bad decisions are being made yet again. And, you know, she goes to sleep after this freaky, weird, bloody makeout session. Makeout sesh. Did I sound young?
You did.
Thank you. And so she goes into the second dream sequence. And this time, okay, so remember they went to the world and the world ate them up. Well, this time the world ate them up, but made them part of the world. So they were part of the world. The world was in them. And so kind of like America is in you no matter where you go, kind of like that. The world was in them. And so the world was like, oh, I'm going to send some of me to Earth because this is not Earth. This is the fifth planet from the sun. You find out. This is the fifth planet from the sun. So you know how there's the asteroid belt like near Jupiter? It used to be a planet. There's a theory out there. I wouldn't go deep into it. Like, please don't be like, oh my God, there was. It's a theory that the asteroid belt used to be a planet, but something, you know, hit it and turned it into like rocks, and then it got sucked into the gravitational pull, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if anybody knew that. That's a fun nerd fact. Did you know that, Scott?
I hadn't heard that theory.
It's a theory. So I guess Christopher Pike put this theory right on in the book. So it's the fifth. So they're on the fifth planet from the sun. And so it's like, oh, well, these people are from the third planet. We're going to change them into us, but they're going to still look like themselves. And we're going to send them to Earth. So they go back on their spaceship to Earth. And by the way, these are ancient humans because they are saying the ancient humans were smarter than now humans, I guess. I don't know. Like they had more knowledge, like ancient knowledge, like occult knowledge or something. I don't know. And they got lost. I don't know. I think that's what he's saying in the book. That's my interpretation. So they send their spaceship back to Earth. And at first, you know, the people are like, oh my God, welcome back. But then people start missing. Because who Angela was in a dream was eating people. So the Earth people discovered this and started hunting them down and killing them. And she wakes up once they're all like gone because she's thinking to herself like, oh my God, even though y'all get rid of the world on your world, our world still exists and we'll send more. And so they eliminate them. That's her last thought. And then she wakes up. And so she wakes up. Jim is kind of gone. He's like out there swimming or something. And then he come back, kiss her, and then leaves. It's just like really weird. It's really weird. It's just a really weird scene. And so she's like, well, since, you know, I'm not doing anything, let me go visit that professor. With that other article that was saying that there are two different asteroids, and one here and then the other in South America. Both of them are named the same. And also nobody drinks from the water. And there's dead fossilized bacteria in there, but nothing else can exist there but this dead fossilized bacteria that nobody knows what it is. And there's this high magnet stuff going on there. Let me go talk to him. What do you think he tells him, Scott?
I don't know.
Basically, Well, yeah, basically that's what he says. He basically is like, I don't know why they letting them people drink that water. There's something wrong with that water from a scientific. Because okay, we had Shine and Feather giving like the spiritual, like hey, the native kind of spiritual thing that was going on with it. That like as far as what their understanding was. Well, the professor had the scientific thing going on, and he's like, I wouldn't. He was like, I don't drink that water. I wouldn't let nobody drink that water. Girl, I don't know why them people drinking that water, but I can't say it on the record because they don't like when I say that. He was like, big corporate don't like when I say that. So this is off the record. And he was like, is this about that girl, taking them people out? And she was like, yeah. And that's how she got him to talk about it. He was like, well, tell me all about it. And so she was like, no, tell me about what, smart girl. So he tells her, hey, there's ancient fossilized bacteria there. There's a high magnet thing going on. You see, don't know plants grow there. And the people before the settlers came were like, I wouldn't drink that water. And there's another example of it in South America, just in case, you think it's just a fluke. It's not a fluke. There's something where meteoroids are crashing and we don't want that. And so she, basically takes it in and it kind of officially confirms everything. And she's like, I think it's got something to do with that fifth planet thing, but let me keep dreaming and seeing. Foreshadowing. And so, she is like, let me get on out of here because I'm about to eat him. So before I eat him, let me just run to my car and eat, that pork shoulder that I got sitting in there raw. So, she finds out that Mary gets released. Remember the friend at Mary. Mary's out on bail, baby. Oh, wow. Yeah, Mary gets out on bail. Why are you saying oh wow?
I don't know. Usually you shoot up a party, you don't get bail.
Mary family got money, baby. They say it in the book many times. Mary family is not poor, honey. Mary family got good lawyers. That's what it say in the book. So she finds out Mary is out. So she's like, I know exactly where my girl would go. She got the family got a cabin somewhere in the woods somewhere. They got money. They got a cabin somewhere in the woods where she had met her. So she was like, let me go see if she's there. What do you think happens when she gets there, Scott? Oh my God. What do you think happens out there? What do you think?
The cabin in the woods?
Mm-hmm.
Probably find something there. I don't know what exactly. Maybe the aliens live there.
Mary is kaput. Mary is gone, honey. Which she has said when Angela came to visit her, like, they gonna take me out, honey. They gonna try to take me out. I know too much. So Mary is gone. They tried to make it look like Mary, a police officer, because there was a police officer there that was gone too. And he was pow-powed. And then there was Mary, and she had a rope around her neck. So I guess it was supposed to be a murder. SS. I heard they're very strict on that. Self-unaliving. To unalive someone else and then self-unalive. Yeah, I'm good at this. So I'm not. So, Angela was sad. She's like, oh my God, my friend gone. They did it to her. Like, I now know that this is officially something crazy. And they did this to my friend. So she's calling her friend. She takes her down. And then all of a sudden, guess what she started doing? Licking the blood. Where the rope was tied. She just starts licking the blood. She just dips her finger in there and she's just, like how you would like take some queso or some salsa, she's taking a little sample.
Taste the product.
Gotta taste the product. Now, while she's doing this, Lieutenant Wynn just like comes in and he's like, girl, what are you doing? I'm sorry, are you eating your friend? Again, I don't even know how we are in denial anymore. At this point, you should just full on just be like, like everybody's screaming I'm Katu. So let me like let go of this cognitive dissonance. I don't think she was there yet though. Not at this point, not at this juncture. So she realizes at this point that she can control people's minds. She started to get her superpowers because she said when she lifted Mary up, it was like nothing. It was like, girl, let me just pick this pen up and just pick her up and put her down. No big deal. That's what she said was going on. And then she said she could feel Lieutenant Wynn's mind. And so she had to erase the fact. Well, she didn't know how to erase the fact that he saw her eating her friend. But she put the fear in him enough to let him know, you better not follow me no more. I got stuff to do that don't involve you. And if you come near me, it's going to be zombie time. She could do that with her mind. And she also simultaneously was like, wait a minute, was Jim doing this to me? Which the answer is probably yes, ma'am. So when she goes home and she tries to eat the dog, Plastic. Because at this point, the blood and bad decisions have caught up with us at this point. So now we're eating any and everything that has a pause. So she goes home and Plastic had got into one of her steaks or something. Plastic had took the bone out the garbage or something so she could smell the bone. So she was trying to get the bone out of Plastic mouth, but she was like, let me just eat Plastic and the bone. All right. That's where we're at. That's where we're at here. So, Jim comes and stops her from eating Plastic. Plastic runs. And so Jim is like, hey, let me just let you know I ate your granddaddy. He was like, remember that note you found? I just typed that up and put that on there because I was trying to turn you into a monster and I ate your granddaddy. And so she goes in the room and sees blood and just gunk everywhere. I don't know how she didn't smell anything. And that's when reality struck. Scott, have you ever had that moment when reality strikes? Have you ever had that moment?
Yeah.
Where you like, oh, wait a minute. This is happening. Yeah. I did it when I was pregnant. I was like when that first ultrasound, I was like, oh man, this is happening. So, I think she had that moment. And so she decided at that point, she was going to end all the Katu. She was like, nah, baby, I'm going to finish what Mary started. I'm going to avenge my friend that I tried to eat. And I'm going to finish what she started. I should have never stopped her from getting this man. But it didn't really matter because, honey, I think there were more of them, so I wouldn't feel guilty about it, but whatever. So she tells Jim, why don't you go ahead and invite all of them, the Katu, just invite all of them over here and we're going to throw a party. I'm just going to have a party. And he's like, cool. I love that.
They weren't traumatized by the last party. They're just going to do it all.
I guess not. I don't know. I guess they figured Mary was gone. So what did they have to lose? She was the last one to know. And if her friend knew, it don't matter because she could too, period. I'm a rapper. I'm over here making beats or rhyming. Rhyming. So, okay. Meanwhile, simultaneously, while all this is going on, Lieutenant Wynn is scared out of he's scared. He's like, this is crazy. Now, Lieutenant Wynn was in the Vietnam War. And he was saying, like, you gotta watch into this story because it's crazy. Because he attributes Jim and the look in Jim's eyes to a crazy soldier that they needed because he was so good at offing people, but they couldn't stand him. And one day he caught him doing some Jeffrey Dahmer type foolishness. And so they ended up taking him out because they realized he had went beyond. Like we don't want you on our team no more. You all the way there. He had attributed Jim to that, but then he was like, the look in Angela's eyes was kind of, when she was eating her friend, kind of was giving me that too. Like, sir, it's time to really get into this. Like, this book is good. So anyway, Lieutenant Wynn is discovering some weird stuff too. Like he's like, okay, I ain't following her because I don't like the look that she gave me. And my mind was like, it was giving me, what was that movie? It's by Stephen King.
Which one?
Oh my gosh, with the little girl that has the telekinesis.
Firestarter?
Yeah, it's giving Firestarter, honey. She got her some Firestarter powers. Remember the daddy would like do it and his nose would bleed? Like, Her nose wasn't bleeding though. Angela's nose wasn't bleeding when that happened. So anyway, so he's scared. And he's like, well, since I don't want to follow her, since she giving me the stank eye, I'm going to go and just investigate what Mary said before Mary, got eaten by her friend or whatever happened. I don't know what happened. Let me go on and look into this. So he goes to the warehouse. Him and a couple of detectives go out to the warehouse, and what they find, dry blood. They test it, it's low, like it links to 4 missing people. So the dude is like, oh my God, this chick ain't, she wasn't kidding. Something wrong. So then he gets a call from the coroner's office or the funeral home. And the funeral home person was like, I need you to just come here because something is weird going on around here. So he goes over, and the funeral home guy was like, I usually, clean the blood out. I'm really good. I'm really meticulous about it. But he was like, I had to leave and go to like on an emergency thing. And I left some blood here, and look at it. It's just it's unique. It's unique. This blood is unique. And he was like, it's the 2 teens that passed away. So he pulls it off, and they say it smells like it's the most disgusting smell. But then also there's this green algae just floating in there and trying to attack the blood thing next to it, trying to get the blood thing next to it. That's not that blood. But trying to get that blood thing next to it is trying to get there. And they're both just sitting there looking like. So, that's going on. So, it's probably that inactive bacteria. I don't know. I don't go near things like that. So, Lieutenant Wynn is like, girl, you know what? I'm just going to kind of step back. And I'm going to let Angela do what she said she needed to do. She said she was going to do something. I'm going to just step back and let her do it. Because this is crazy. So, wait a minute. Oh, so Jim... So we go back. Angela decided she gonna just blow everybody up. Her grandfather got a propane tank because that's how he, fuels the house. She goes and gets a bunch of more gasoline. She got super strength, so she just pumps gas into her car and just tilts it over and puts it in bottles. Because, hey, we got super strength. I have supervision. I can see you, Scott.
Oh, wow.
So, that's what she's busy doing. And then the party's happening. So everybody comes in and everybody's all weird. But hey, guess what? There's a little glitch in our plan here. Because guess who Jim brought to the party? Kevin. Jim decided to bring her a little snackety snack. Because we're here. At this point, we're here. We're here. We didn't try to eat the dog. We didn't try to eat our friend. We're here at this point. We're fully here. Okay? We've escalated up. We're not even in denial anymore. So he brings Kevin and she's like, what you bring Kevin for? And he's like, girl, you know why I brought Kevin. You need to make that full transformation. You need to go all the way Thriller. You need to make that full transformation. So I brought him here. And then all of a sudden he goes boop and boop to both of them and knocks them out. And this is where Angela has that third dream, that final dream to kind of tell you the whole reason why everybody's making these changes like this. So the world is there. Remember, we on that fifth planet there. And remember, I told you it's now the asteroid belt. So we got that fifth world. So the ancient humans, they take them, they say, talking stuff from the far, I'm gonna meet you at your front door. And they take it on to the fifth planet and they bring bombs and all kinds of stuff like what Angela's about to do. They bring bombs, they bring firepower, they bring whatever they got. They bring their little laser pow-pows and they laser any little monsters that are coming out the ground. They set the BBD bomb and they blow that sucker up. And that is how Christopher Pike in this book says that asteroid belt, it used to be a fifth planet, but they blew it up. Humans blew it up to save humanity from from Thriller or monsters, whatever we call them, Cthulhu, whatever. And that's why it was an asteroid belt. But he also says the world was petty as worlds are. And it made sure when the BBD bombs launched off, it launched 2 meteoroids right on towards Earth. Like, no. You don't get to destroy me. I destroy you, not the reverse. So that's how we got Lake Point and the other lake in South America. Period. So her dream concludes. And this is the part I can't read in the book because Kevin's such a nice guy and I feel so bad for him. I don't like it. But I guess when you think about it from a logical perspective, I mean, he never would have escaped because she was going to blow everything up. Angela eats Kevin, y'all.
Oh, no.
She ate him. She went full Thriller. She let herself go full. I mean, I guess she didn't have no choice because she didn't have no German blood sausage or rack of lamb or whatever she was chowing on. So my girl went full Thriller and ate her friend Kevin.
R.I.P. Kevin.
R.I.P. Let's take a moment. I'm kidding. So she eats Kevin and she does in her mind go full Cthulhu. Kevin or Jim comes up there. She takes a shower. He's like, come on downstairs. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. They're just, I don't know, being weirdos. I don't know. So he's like, come on, shower and come on down. And she's like, But then he gets, she puts that Cthulhu necklace on that Shining Feather gave her. And, then she snaps back and she's like, oh my God, I'm Angela. I'm a girl. She's here. She's Thriller. And so Jim is like, girl, what's that necklace thing? And so finally she gets tired and she just takes a knife and she just hacks his neck. And she said black blood came out. And so then she lit the fuse. Bombs go off over Bad Dad. Bombs over Bad Dad go off. She pushes plastic off the balcony before that happens into the lake, even though plastic is like, girl, don't nobody mess with this lake. But it's like the lake or the bomb, honey. So she pushes plastic off and saves plastic, and she takes out the Katu, but she runs and leaps off the thing, and you could see her flying across Point Lake because Lieutenant Wynn saw it. He saw the whole thing go up. Oh, also, I'm sorry, before we get off of Lieutenant Wynn, I forgot the last thing that happened with Lieutenant Wynn that really made him say, I'm not going over there. I'm going to let her just do whatever. Lieutenant Wynn decided to go to the cemetery where the two teenagers were buried. Why he hear moaning coming from the grave?
No, they must have buried someone that was Katu.
But they did, two people. So he was like, I'm done. So, okay, he went kind of like towards Angela's house. And so when everything blew up, he saw her fly across the sky and he was like, I don't even care. Like that's crazy. So they do like an epilogue or whatever. And in the end, you see that Lieutenant Wynn finds plastic and adopts plastic. She's deaf now because of the noise. And he notes that the lake, like everybody, there were 32 people there and 32 bodies got pulled out of the wreckage, or 31 bodies got pulled out the wreckage. They don't know what happened to Angela. Lieutenant Wynn was like, honey, I'm gonna have to go dig up them bodies and do something to them. Cause I don't like that moaning down there. Something weird was going on. And also he notes that they keep finding corpses of deer all through the woods. And then you get a second perspective of Angela, who now is full Katu. Sorry, before we get there. Also, Lieutenant Wynn talks about something happening where a bunch of oil trucks got taken and thrown into the lake. And now the lake is so contaminated, it's undrinkable. It's been deemed undrinkable. Now, also, you also see from a different perspective, Angela, who's full Katu, looking down at Lieutenant Wynn and plastic and being like, am I going, and then the necklace that Shiny Feather gave her is on her neck. And she's like, nah, never mind. I don't eat humans. I don't do that. I don't do that. That's not cool. Humans ain't cool. And that is the end of the story.
Wow.
What did you think, Scott? What did you think, viewer?
Yeah, I like that story.
Yeah, it's a different perspective. Look, we had in the beginning people getting taken out, honey. We had zombies, we had aliens, we had a whole theory on a fifth planet. Honey, we had it all, honey. Okay, the story had it all. In 200 and some pages, it had it all. I gotta give my man Christopher Pike some props. Now, what did you learn from this, Scott? What did you learn? What did you learn, viewer? What did you learn from this?
Don't drink the water.
Okay.
Yeah, if they tell you don't drink the water, then don't drink the water.
Okay. Yeah. I learned this. Sometimes you gotta stop, slow down, and see. Like if it seems like somebody's doing something crazy, double check and make sure if it's really crazy, because they might be onto something that you don't know. Because look, all of this could have been prevented if Angela had listened to Mary in the beginning. I'm just saying, like Angela kind of is giving Luigi over there. Okay. So sometimes you gotta, slow down and see what they talking about, because sometimes they ain't crazy. Because Mary wasn't crazy, honey. Mary had seen too much.
Well, maybe she should have said something too before she went.
Who was gonna believe her though, Scott? Viewer, who was gonna believe her? If I came and was like, Scott, oh my God, them people lifting up barbells and they bending, cheerleaders going from the bottom of the base all the way to the top, just flipping up there, You gonna believe me? We gotta go take him out.
Well, I don't know that he go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at a party is gonna make me believe you any better.
They needed to do some research, and she did it, and she did some extra research, and then she ended up becoming Thriller.
But made for a good book.
It was a good book. And if you guys like it, let me know, because I need to figure out where my niche is. I think it's going to be reading of different types. I'm going to continue with Sherlock Holmes. I'm going to come right on back in a couple of days with Sherlock Holmes. We got to get on the case some more. And I want to incorporate Christopher Pike, but I have other books. So let me know what you guys think about the Christopher Pike retellings. And let me know how I can do better. Constructively be nice. Anyway, so I will see you guys later. Thanks for joining. Bye. Oh, we're closed. I gotta put the close sign. Sorry. Okay, bye.